Sair em busca dos restos dos dinossauros é sem dúvida uma aventura apaixonante. Mas será que realmente podemos ser capazes de encontrar um dinossauro? Parece impossível ou pelo menos muito difícil, mas não é. E até existe uma fórmula que os paleontólogos usam para saber onde encontrá-los. Primeiro, é preciso conhecer a coluna geológica para saber reconhecer as camadas específicas nas quais se encontram as rochas que contêm os fósseis de dinossauros. Estas são a do Triássico, Jurássico e Cretáceo. Depois, você tem que reconhecer as rochas sedimentares. E por último, busque locais onde as camadas dessas rochas estejam naturalmente expostas. Hoje te convidamos a continuar com esta intrigante viagem atrás das pegadas dos dinossauros. Em nossa viagem à procura de evidências desses seres fascinantes do passado, chegamos até o estado de Wyoming, nos Estados Unidos. Conhecida como a Formação Lance, este é um dos maiores depósitos de fósseis do mundo, onde foram encontrados desde elementos microscópicos até extensos depósitos onde jazem, entre outros, inúmeros esqueletos de dinossauros. É aqui, neste lugar estratégico, onde se encontra a Estação de Pesquisa Hanson, uma operação de proporções mundiais que mantém em sua essência o espírito de quem a iniciou, com o sonho de obter destes ossos o conhecimento e de sua interpretação, uma nova forma de compreender as origens.
This is the Hanson Ranch. There's about 8,000 acres out here on this ranch. And it was homesteaded back in 1908. So in 2008, they celebrated their 100-year anniversary.
My dad was raised here. My grandfather homesteaded here. All the time as we grew up here, we picked up dinosaur bones and we would look, and some were obvious, like vertebrae, and leg bones and things like that. And if we wanted to keep them, we would keep them, and if we didn't, we would throw them back down. They were just very numerous.
When we were out working cows on horseback, we would find these great big vertebrae. And we knew they were not cattle vertebrae, they had to be dinosaur vertebrae. And so we would take them home and put them in our underwear drawers with our other treasures. And people who came out to visit us, that was one of our Sunday afternoon activities, was come up to these ridges and pick up dinosaur bones and give them as gifts to our guests. And so we always knew they were here.
Through the years, my dad, a hardworking rancher, had always let people from universities come and walk over the land. They wanted to pick up whatever bones they could find and artifacts and treasures for their school, and he had always allowed that. But it had always been just a one-day walkover, or possibly a few hours another day. But this particular person wanted to set up camp and stay for some weeks. He came back the second year and wanted to stay.
In 1995, we had this paleontologist from the University of New Orleans out here, and the gentleman wanted a lease to be able to excavate dinosaur fossils for 100 years. And Brenda and I stepped into the picture along with Brenda's dad. And we really didn't want that to happen because we are Christians and we did not want the bones here on the ranch to depict and tell a story of evolution.
The professor from New Orleans and my dad had very divergent viewpoints. And the professor came and stayed several weeks with some students and assistants one year. And some of the local school children came out, and Dad overheard him telling them that the bones were millions and millions of years old.
And one day my dad heard him teaching the local, I think it was 4th grade, teaching them evolution using our bones. And my dad is a creationist. We believe that God created the world in 6 literal 24-hour days, just like it says in Genesis. And so he wasn't pleased with that.
He told the professor that he wanted to, if he was going to tell him that, tell everybody that, especially school children, that he wanted him to also tell the other theory, the creationist theory. And of course, the professor would not do that. And so we had this disagreement in basic philosophy about why the bones were here. To the point where the two sides kept getting further and further apart. So we decided to scrap that idea, and Dad finally found a creation team to come in and work not in the same quarries or anything, but on the ranch to tell people the other theory, the creation theory. And when that happened, then the evolutionists from New Orleans left. They would not stay as long as on the same ranch. And there's miles of dinosaur bones here. You know, they didn't have to see each other even, but they wouldn't. And they were, you know, the attitude was not cooperative at that point on their part. And it became sour grapes, in fact. And they decided that the last day they were here was the last day true science would ever happen on this ranch.
Este é o último dia em que a verdadeira ciência será feita na Fazenda Hanson. Esta foi a mensagem final pintada na porta ao sair por aqueles que se renderam à intolerância e decidiram abandonar o lugar. Os mesmos que diziam ser cientistas, mas que esqueceram o que é fundamental para o desenvolvimento da verdadeira ciência, o respeito.
But we knew that we had something great out here, and we decided to talk to different creation organizations to see if we can gain their interest, and we decided to look for a paleontologist. And during this time, then, we decided to form an organization, a nonprofit organization called the Hansen Research Station.
At that time, there were not very many of us creationist paleontologists that could deal with dinosaurs. And I was one of them. And they asked me to come and look at the ranch and make recommendations on how it could be developed for scientific work. He wasn't interested in selling the bones, which, by the way, are very pricey. And he could make lots of money off of the thousands of bones he's got. But he was more interested that the creationist message get out.
We had a person that had come out here, a paleontologist, Dr. Lee Spencer, that had come out here during that time that we were trying to determine what we wanted to do. And we also had a couple other gentlemen, Dr. Kurt Weiss from Bryan College at that time, and also Dr. Andrew Snelling, who actually was from Australia. And Dr. Snelling now works in the United States. Anyway, both of those people helped us in the formation of the Hansen Research Station.
It took us some quirks and growing pains to work that out, but about 1996, I believe, Dr. Chadwick and Dr. Spencer and Dr. Wise and Dr. Snelling, along with others that I probably am forgetting right now, showed up, and we And they did some headbutting among themselves. And when they got through, what we were hearing was like music to our ears as a family, because we were in search of something we could not say what we needed to hear, but we knew we were hearing it finally. They were not here to prove a point. They were not here to prove creationism or to prove the Bible true, but they were here to find out what actually the sediments and the bones were here to tell us. And so we finally realized that's what we had been waiting to hear. And we were very pleased that they were here to start something that was God-honoring and true science. And they pioneered a lot of practices and procedures here that have been that have made a world-class operation out of this.
Desde seus humildes princípios, como apenas um sonho familiar, a estação de pesquisa Hanson se caracterizou pelo trabalho duro e a investigação sincera. Ao reconhecer nos restos de dinossauros peças de um quebra-cabeças que exige um trabalho sério para ser compreendido plenamente, o maior legado desta operação resulta em seu compromisso com a pesquisa científica de excelência.
Well, shortly after that then, Dr. Lee Spencer was talking to Dr. Art Chadwick, which was doing some research also up in Yellowstone National Park and the Grand Canyon. And so one summer of, I think it was 96, I believe it was 1996, Lee brought him, Dr. Art Chadwick, up here.
I went with him and we came out here to look at it. I wasn't really interested in dinosaurs at that time because I was working down in Peru on fossil whales, so I didn't need another project, but I did it because he was my friend, and so we came out here together. And we met the ranch owner, he's a very, very nice person, and he took us in his old pickup truck and drove us out here onto the top of one of these mesas. And I don't know if he did it deliberately or not, but when I tried to get out of the pickup truck and stand on the ground, I couldn't because it was covered with dinosaur bones. I had to walk on dinosaur bones to get out of the truck. And that disturbed me very much because I could see that these bones were being washed away and they would be lost forever to science. So even though I didn't want another project, right at that moment I began to try to formulate a way that I could do something to preserve these data.
At that time he decided to go ahead and submit a research plan. So that plan was submitted and was approved by a research advisory committee, and since 1997, Dr. Chadwick has been coming out here every summer during the month of June. And during the month of June, 1 month out of the year, they excavate approximately 1,000 fossils or more. So presently, after we've been at this for 20 years now, they have in the collection of fossils that have been excavated approximately between 18 and 20,000 fossil bones.
E aqui na escavação temos uma região que ainda está escondida e vamos descobrir, vamos tentar achar aqui um osso de dinossauro. Como que a gente faz isso? Bom, a Irene vai explicar para nós agora.
So we have several tools here. So we have one that we can scrape with. But we've already taken off some of the sand, so you probably want to work with this one. Okay. So you're going to work slowly, so you push into the ground lightly away from you.
Yes.
Right, and use the tool to lift the sediment. Right, and you turn it over carefully, and if you feel that you run into something or that you hear something different than the ground, than the soil, then you stop and then we sweep away. Okay, so after you push some of the sediment up, then you can use that one and you can scoop it into the pan and move it out of the way so you can see the next layer. Yeah, that's right. And you can push it down into the pan.
Here's something.
Okay, well, we'll see. You can use your brush and sweep and see what's under the loose sand.
What do you think it is?
So it's probably just a layer of the mud. So the layers can look different. So you can check it when you think something is there, then you can check it. Yeah. So you can so you can move more, and then we'll see if we find anything else. Okay, hold on, stop. Now that's a little sweep and see if there's more of this one. This is a piece of the crocodile. Okay, so you have to go over here. And we put it here so we don't dig the same dirt again.
Okay.
So you can put it. Nice. Okay, now you can start digging again.
Hope to find something.
I think that might be something. Yeah, so it looks like...
Encontramos algo.
Yeah, you found a piece. So you would use this one to carefully pull away. First though, we should put some glue.
Okay.
So you want to take your glove off if you're going to glue, because the glue can glue the glove to your fingers. Okay. So then, you very carefully drop some drops on it. That's to hold it together, because there are some pieces that are breaking. So while the glue is drying, then you can use this one, and you'll very carefully move this away from the edges so we can see the whole outline. It looks like it might be from a turtle.
A turtle?
Mm-hmm.
How do I know what it ends?
That's what we're going to find out right now. So when you work around it, you should be able to find where is the bottom of this. But we want to leave it in position because we'll take the GPS points and a photograph. Yeah, so you can keep working around it until it doesn't go down anymore. Okay, so we can see all of it, and so we can take the GPS data for it now.
Okay.
Yeah, this looks good. Okay, so we can call for GPS and they'll come.
Okay.
We are ready.
Yes. So here's your card.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a radio on.
You will write your name as the excavator.
Okay.
You will write the date. And for description, this, we will call it a segment of, or a fragment of frill. And I will get a book. You will write, actually right here, we have it. And you'll come over here. Next page is 19. So you write page 19. And you write field book. Under field book right here, you write Keith Snyder. Then you draw it as best you can. So you get to try to be an artist.
Okay.
that? Yep. And then you can take this card, and each of these spaces, the black and the white, black and white, they're each a centimeter.
Okay.
So you come and you measure it, and you get about 7 centimeters long. And the width, you'll have about 2.5 wide. Okay, so that's done there. And then you also write which quarry it's in. And so that's done there. You can put that back away. And you have one last thing to do on here. And you write your name. And then you copy this description down right here. And you can write the date right there. And they take this back, and this is how they keep track of all the bones when they process them.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So we're done with this. And I'll go get the GPS, we'll GPS it, and then we'll pack it up. Okay.
Okay.
So I take this number and enter it on the GPS. Okay, and so I'm gonna hold this up here, and you're gonna hold the base, the point there.
Okay.
And you are gonna do, let's put a point here, 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 and then there. Just hold it until the sound, hold it there until the sound is made. So next. Okay. So then we get to take a picture with this. And this automatically attaches the picture with the GPS points. And so now we're done with that. And we get to start taking it out. So now we package it up for shipment. So right here we have the stickers with each of the numbers. And you have 4-2, so we'll take this sticker and put it on the surface there. And then we take the other one and we'll put that on the outside of this. So take that, fold the card over it, just go like this, fold the card in half over it, and then just wrap it up. Yep, that's good. Okay, now you get to put the sticker on it. And because sometimes the stickers fall off, use this and copy the number and also write your name.
Okay. Ready.
And now we will take it back and ship it back to Texas.
Remover terra várias horas por dia não parece ser um grande problema para os entusiastas de todas as cidades, que se reúnem cada mês de junho para acampar entre as colinas de Wyoming. Açoitados pelos ventos, abrasados pelo sol, nada parece importar diante do prazer do descobrimento. O privilégio de ser o primeiro em ver e tocar o que restou destes animais que viveram há tanto tempo atrás.
Each year our goal is to try to learn more about these animals and to preserve more data. So we work where we see bones coming out of the sides of hills and places where it looks like data will be lost, and we focus our attention there and try to learn as much as we can about these animals. Because of this desire to preserve the data, we also implemented some new technologies. And God had given us insights about how we could do things differently and better than the standard methods in paleontology.
In those days, we were digging in what is now North Quarry, and had strings laid out. And when you would find a bone, a fossil, you would use the strings. They were on meter grids, and measure it out with plumb bobs to get the elevation and record it all in a notebook. And eating lunch one day, I said, there's got to be a better way to record these positions. And I was aware of GPS-based technology that in a differential mode would get you down within a few tenths centimeters, but hadn't really investigated it further. That winter, before the next season, Dr. Chadwick investigated and discovered that high precision surveying equipment that's GPS based could get it down to within a centimeter or so, which is sufficient for our purposes. And of course, the other thing that's necessary is that you don't want to have to sit there for a minute for it to take a reading. So it turned out that it just fits what we wanted to do perfectly. And it takes the reading in a second or so, and therefore you can take lots of readings around a bone. It's recorded electronically. We can then download that to a computer. And so no more writing things down and therefore making those mistakes. And it's a lot more efficient and faster and just worked beautifully for what we want.
Because we've been collecting these bones since the year 2000 with GPS, using GPS information, we have the largest collection of geolocated dinosaur bones in the world. And we would like to share this technology and information with others, but they are reluctant to follow us because we are creationists. So even though we are doing good work and they recognize us for the work we're doing, they don't want to follow our lead in terms of the technology. So, which makes me happy because every year we get 1 year farther ahead of the crowd. So that's one of the things we have done here. The other is after we take the bones back, we catalog the bones, and we have, from the very first, our whole collection has photographs of all the bones included online. And so we have what must be the largest collection of dinosaur bones in the world with pictures of all the bones. So we have done this kind of technology, advanced this kind of technology, because we're not just doing this for ourselves. We're doing it for posterity, for the future. These are data that will still be around long after I'm gone. And we want also to do this to the glory of God. So we want to do the very best. We want to treat the data the very best way we can.
Após semanas de escavações, grandes achados e uma inesquecível experiência, os restos de dinossauros cuidadosamente coletados e catalogados pela primeira vez em milhares de anos abandonam os campos de Wyoming. A mais de 17 horas de viagem, lhes espera o laboratório da Universidade Adventista do Sudoeste, em Keene, Texas, onde uma nova etapa começará na intrigante busca pela verdade sobre suas origens.